Good evening, race fans. Here is Urban Pirate with Black Flag Racing TV, and we've got a really top performance for you this evening. We have got the Lithuanian GR3 Championship, round number 4 from the Fuji International Speedway in Shizuoka, Japan. It's not technically a speedway because they only built half of it as a speedway, but they gave it that name anyway. It has hosted one Formula One Grand Prix in 2008, and the lap record is held by I think it's Fernando Alonso. I could be wrong though. I could check that, I suppose, couldn't I? So we are at Fuji, 2.8 miles, 16 corners, and this is a racetrack where you are on the power for over 80% of the racetrack, at full power that is, for over 80% of the racetrack. Very similar to Monza in that respect. Some of the corners are flat out, some of the corners are very tricky, particularly turn number 1, which is aptly named the first corner. Coca-Cola, quite an easy left-hander. You've got 100R, which is turn 4, which really, it's not one you need to brake for, but you do need to feather the control of the throttle through that corner, which takes you down to turn 5, which is really sort of part of 100R already. Turn 6 is the hairpin at the end there. Entry into the hairpin is crucial because you are flat out from that exit through turn 7, 8 and turn 9, 300R. That takes you up to Dunlop, which is a very hard braking right-hander, which takes you into turn 11 and 12. You accelerate basically through turn 12 into turn 13, and then that takes you into the tricky little section at the back, up to the Panasonic at turn 16. Now that turn is crucial because you need to get on the power coming out of that turn as quickly as possible for that very long straight. And on that straight is where you will make up a lot of your time. You will be able to close up using slipstream to the cars around you, or at least you hope to. But so that's enough about that. Where are we at? So we're at round 4 already, nearly the halfway point. Can you believe it? But the standings so far are as follows. I will bring it up in a second. There we go. There are the standings so far. So still at the top of the leaderboard. A couple of great performances. 2 first place for him so far already. Wendigo in the Porsche 911. He's currently sitting on 70 championship points. Guy also in that Porsche. The Porsche is very strong in this GR3. Sits in second. Great win from Guy last week. If you watched that stream, very good strategy. Very quick pace. 47 points for Guy. He got an extra point for fastest lap in the first race. But actually, Wendigo, despite being the fastest man out there really in terms of winning races, hasn't got fastest lap as yet. King Bob, he's currently sitting 3rd. One of those, week number 2, he did play his skip stage coupon to give him that additional 10 points. That puts him on 44 points so far. Simonis in the Honda NSX on 39 points. Has used already both of his skip tokens, so a lot of work to do for him, and he can't miss any more races, not if he wants to stay in that running. Fizrokas in the Corvette C7 sits there in 5th, just a couple of points behind Simonas. Still all to play for. Danish D, the reigning champion, down in 6th, 34 points. So nearly half the points of the current championship leader. So he certainly does need to start up in the pace and start getting some results in. Then Rollis in the McLaren 650S in 7th. Arminis in the GR Supra is in 8th place. Timosius in that Alfa Romeo 4C in 9th. Paz Kozas in 10th, and then the rest are there for you all to see. You'll see on the right hand side, that's an update to the current rankings. It obviously changes race by race based on race performance. Simonas and King Bob currently the joint leaders at the top of the ranking, with Wendigo and Danish D just behind them, and Fizrakas as well on equal points with Danish D, as is Tamosius. Gudrazo and Rollers next with Pascozas, Arminis, Shady and Dariukas, and then everyone else below a ranking of 9. So yeah, and bottom corner you'll see the penalty points. Now Alpha and Atanas, 4 and 5 respectively. Those have already been applied. Kostya with a rage quit, and anyone that watches my streams will know how I feel about people that rage quit. It's a really shitty thing to do. Good evening, Arminus. How you doing, buddy? I hope you have a good race. Yeah, it's a really shitty thing to do. And just stick it out and suck it up and stop being a pussy. But there's 8 points for his rage quit anyway. Maybe then that'll learn him to not be a pussy. So he currently sitting in his 16th. That was his only race actually. He hasn't played a token. So it doesn't bode well for the rest of the season for Kostya. So that's where we are currently at. Now I will, you'll see in the description there's a couple of links if you wanted to contribute towards the devastation out in the United States, in Florida and Canada at the moment. I'll put the link in there if you want to donate. You don't have to. I'll put a little banner up on screen and stuff, and etc, etc, etc. So I think we'll take a look and see what's occurring in the wonderful world of the Lithuanian racing. We'll see who we've got out there tonight. It'll be a good start, wouldn't it? So let's get into the room and have a little look and see what's going on. So there's Rollis, currently sitting, everyone currently sitting, because we've got Rollis in the McLaren. There's Audriox, Daniel Steve in the Lexus, Shady in that AMG. It's a great car, the AMG. If you want to see some good racing with the AMG, I did a stream about 1 o'clock this morning for the GT Champions over in the US, where they race these around Daytona for 90 minutes. Very, very good race. These are very good cars. Arminus in the Toyota Supra, another great car. There is Dariukas in the Porsche 911. Paz Kozas in that McLaren 650S. King Bob in the and I've got, every time I see it, I really do love that livery, in the AMG Mercedes. Also Termosius there in the Alpha 4C. Surprise package, that Alpha. Hoppity hop, there he is in the Porsche 911, but it's a Porsche 911 covered in Ferrari badges. Never really understood that, but each their own. There's Wendigo, first man going out on track, also in that Porsche 911, current championship leader, the man to beat at the moment. Timothy's coming out as well. Who else we got in the room? ECM 350. For some reason it's brought up. I want their nicknames. That's what I want. Simonas, isn't it? That's who it is. Simonas. There he is coming out of the pits now. Guy. Great race from Guy last week in that Porsche 911. Looking forward to see what he can turn out tonight. He's changed his livery actually. He did have a Ferrari badge on the back of his last week, but he's changed the livery. Looking pretty damn cool actually, to be fair. Liking that. Trying to work out what that's on the side. Looks like it's just the undead. Fizz Rockus in the C7. Nice cool livery on there as well. So everyone running a couple of laps out there at the moment. We've got a full lobby tonight, which is always good. Always makes for a bit more racing. So as I said, there's if you do want to donate to the Florida Disaster Fund, there is the link there at the bottom. It will also be knocking around in the description underneath. So click on the banner there. So how many laps this evening? I hear you cry. 31 laps around here today. So it's going to be really, really close racing. And let's go on board with Paz Kozas for a lap at Fuji. That's what everyone wants to see, isn't it? Here we go. Let's do it from his view. So you are on this left-hand side coming up to turn number 1. You want to stay left. You're looking there just after that 100 metre bodies where you get on those brakes. You want to turn in relatively late to catch the apex, and then you want to get on the power. It's full power through turn 2. You don't have to worry about braking for that. Drifting over to the right hand side, 50 metre board, a little dab, nothing much on the brakes. You catch that apex, and then you will use all of the road. This is where you don't need to brake, you just need to lift mid corner just to stop the car drifting too far out wide. You want to make sure you are nice and close to this right hand side for the hairpin. catch, you want to clip, to be fair, you want to clip that a little bit tighter at apex, and be careful of the curbs on your right because it can throw you off. Flat out through this turn and this one as well as you go up the hill towards this, which is a very, very tricky corner. If you brake too late, you are in trouble. Not a great turn there. You need to clip the apex. Going a bit slower, actually. What you need to do is sacrifice some entry speed in that first one to get a much better exit from the second one. And then you come around this back section here, quite a tricky back section. And then here, again, using all the roads you dare, out to the left-hand side. It's a little double brake, not too much. You want to catch this apex here, and you want to get on the power as quickly as possible. The earlier you get on the power, the better it is going to be for you in the long run, because this is a very, very long straight. And on this straight, you need to make sure you are on the power very, very early. Here is where people can make up a lot of time. Particularly qualifying, you can get a really good time with some slipstream there. Now, in terms of strategy, because you've got such a big straight, if you aren't fuel saving, you're going to need to really find the way to conserve some fuel around this sort of section. So that front section, that quick section, you've got to be on the power for all of it, and you've got to be getting the most out of the engine. So the only way you're going to conserve fuel there is with some slipstream. But this is the section here, and going around to the left hand side here, where you can start to make up a little bit of time with or a little bit of fuel saving ability, just to kind of get your car through it. 2 stops. I think 2 stops is probably the way forward. Really down to personal strategy and personal preference. We expect Wendigo to be there or thereabouts. He always is. Now, one thing about Wendigos you'll notice, and if you've not watched these guys race before, Wendigo has a very interesting strategy. Is he won't be the one that fucks off up the road 5 seconds ahead. He's quite happy to let other people do that. He will sit in. He has a game plan from minute 1. And he sits in there and lets that game plan play out. And he doesn't care if he leads you 2 or 3 places, because he has a vision to the end of the race. He's not looking at lap 2 or lap 3 or lap 4. He's looking at lap 28, 29, 30 and where he's going to end up at that stage. Guy, very similar in that kind of style. He can, I mean, if he wants to, he can really put in that power and put that down and get out there. But, again, it's all about strategy. Balls out racer, that's who you want to be looking at. MT96, Kim Bob in that AMG Mercedes. He will put the hammer down. He's already done a 1:37.8, which is a very quick lap around here. And with that slipstream, I'm surprised actually he didn't pull out a much bigger time. Wendigo so far 37.9 is his qualifying time. We've got about, well, it's 20 minutes qualifying, so we've got about 15 minutes left. Still some time to improve that. I genuinely think, I think in these cars, I think with some slipstream, with the right conditions, I see no reason why we can't see a sub 37 qualifying lap here once you start to dial it in. Simonas also very quick. It really does get that NSX switched on. He is currently running at 1:38.1, so only Wendigo and King Bob MT96 have got that car below the 1:38 mark. I still call it. I still think there's 8 tenths to save somewhere in this track. Certainly not for me, it's not very quick, but for these guys who can race. So Guy with a 38.3. There is Tom. Why has he changed his name to Tom? Just to confuse me. I don't know whether to call him Tom or whether to call him Tom Mosius. I'm going to call him Tom because it's easier to say. So he's in that Alpha 4C, as we just see someone going off the side of the track. He's done on 38.5 in that. I'm not entirely sure the Alpha's going to be a great car here. It's not got the top line speed. It's great around corners, but it's not got the top line speed of some of these more powerful cars. I think the cars to look out for, I mean, the Porsche 911, we know is going to be a good car. It's a really good all-round car. But in terms of straight line speed, the AMG, you can't look much further than that in terms of really high quality in that AMG Mercedes. You're going to get, if you get a good exit out, particularly that last corner, that turn 16, you can absolutely melt it down that straight. So there's Fizz Rockus. He's in the C7. Another good car for this track. The American muscle on those big long straights and quick sections. Going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think. Dariukas in the Porsche 911. So far only a 38.7. Certainly got more time in that Porsche as we've seen from some of the other runners. Ronnie's 38.9 is his best lap so far. Paz Kozas with a 39.2, not yet getting great performance out of that McLaren. He has got more pace than that, and I'm sure we'll start to see it soon. Audiox at the moment at 140.0, not broken that 140 mark yet. So there's me talking about people breaking the 137. There's some guys out there not quite under the 140 yet. Shady in that AMG doesn't get the same performance out of the AMG that King Bob MT96 does, but it's a good solid car, and you know, with some good solid fuel savings, some good laps, and a smart strategy, I think he can move his way up the order and certainly challenge among that midfield. We know Arminis is certainly quicker than 12th in there, and that GR Supra is a fabulous car. I'll tell you where the car is very good. Daytona, that car is very good because of the straights. You've got the same thing here. The thing with this car, though, you don't really get the performance out of it unless you're short shifting it. You can't rev it up to the end. You literally, I mean, if you look at the bar at the bottom there, you are no more than just beyond where the numbers are, where the little box says automatic. Although these guys aren't running automatic, it just says it. But where that little box is and it says 80 automatic for suggested gear, that's about where you need to shift this car. Any later, and you're not getting the most benefit out of the turbo. Mr. J in the. It really just does baffle me when you drive a Porsche and you cover it in the livery of a car that you love. If you love the Ferrari, drive the Ferrari. Each to their own, I suppose, though. Each to their own. There's Itanas. Itanas can be very racy. He's also in that Porsche 911. Is he going to be held up by Mr. J? Or is he able to use that slipstream and maybe slip past during qualifying to get himself a better time, but not broken 140 yet either? And obviously there's me at the bottom, but that's not me because I'm not racing. And I certainly, I've been criticised, people can't get up to 140. That's probably about my level, to be fair. If I really dialed it in the Supra, I might get 139-ish. But I haven't run it. So, no change at the moment. MT96 still the man on pole. Hasn't managed to better, though, that 137.8. That was it was a very purple lap because that was the best he could do. That was his second run out. It's almost as though that he's pushing so hard to beat that it's actually costing him more time. Wendigo, championship leader in that Porsche 911, currently 137.9. The only other runner under, I say, well, the only other, as Simonas puts in a 37.4. That is a phenomenal time. So I wanted a sub 37. Wendigo and MT96 gave me a high 37. Simonas comes in and says, no, he's right, there is 8 cents in that, and he gives me a 37.4. Is he going to be the one? We know Simonas, it can't be a one lap beast. And that NSX, the biggest problem with this car, right, is the throttle is rubbish. You can't. There's no real feathering to the throttle here. You are either flat to the floor or not moving at all. It's a very funny kind of throttle on this NSX, and it's very all or nothing on this car. But if you can dial this car in, and I've seen it done, if you can dial this car in and get a real affinity for this car, you can churn out some very, very good lap times. And it does look like I'm having a little bit of lag issue with the. So now I don't know if that is at PD's end or my end. I might have a little look and see what the skin is with this at the moment. So let me have a look. It's tells me about Q3 figures. I don't know what that is. whatever the problem is, it's I think it's a preventative. I think it's a PD issue and a knee issue kind of together. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully it gets better. So Simone's going into the pits, putting on some fresh tyres and having another crack at qualifying. Can he go sub 37? He's the man I'm looking to try and do it if he can. Down the order, who's at the back of the grid that can give me something special? Tanas at the moment, 140.6 is his best lap as he puts on some fresh tyres, tries to have another go with a bit less fuel on board. I think that's the key. Is get some runs done with burn that fuel off. You know, it's a 20-minute qualifying session. We have about 7 minutes left, there or thereabouts. So you want to use as much of that time as possible burning off the fuel, making the car as light as possible, which gives you that opportunity to, with the lighter car, just throw it around a bit and have a crack at a good time. And I've just seen the message, 8 minutes till the start of this race. So 8 minutes, that gives you 4 good laps, 4 solid laps around here to get the best qualifying time. Tanas 140.6 on an out lap now. He's going to get 3 laps after this. There's Mr. J coming in the pits, needs to do a repair. Now this is the biggest problem we had. At Dragon Trial it was a nightmare because Chicane of Death took so many casualties last week. It was absolutely nuts. Wendigo and Guy, very, very good at staying out of trouble. I think they were the only 2 that didn't clip a wall anywhere during that race. I don't know what's going on with Mr. J, but that car is not going very quickly. Maybe readjusting himself in his seat. He has done a 40.3. Audiox, he's gone sub 140 now with a 139.8. Bit more time there in that McLaren, we know there is. Paz Kozas, big spins from him last week. I did mean to make a show reel of it, but I've been quite busy, to be fair. But I will get around to making a show reel of Paz Kozas spinning at Dragon Trail. 139.2. He did that on lap number 3. Hasn't been able to improve on that since. Closest has been a 39.3. So currently sitting in 11th. Shady, there he is with a 39.0. So literally 1,000th of a second off the time set by Danius D in the Lexus. A 139.004. And he is 2/10 slower at the moment than Dariukas in that Porsche 911. 138.7. Fizz Rockas with a 138.4. And only a couple of hundredths, 600ths in fact, slower than Rollins, who's also done a 38.4, but a 38.4.0. There's Guy, winner last week. Really solid performance in that 911 last week from him. He is currently sitting in 5th. He has done a 1:38.3. And actually, when you look at some of the faster times, most of them have set that time really early on. And it just seems that as the field is spread out, there's less people on the track, less opportunity for slipstream, the times are dropping off. So these quick times, they're getting them slipstream. There's Tomosius at 1:38.2 in the Alpha. As we see Fizz Rockas in 4th, 1:38.0, moves him up the order a little bit. Still not in that, not making that 1:37 barrier. But the top 3 they've all gone sub 1:37. MT96 has bettered his time with 37.5, but it's still not good enough to match Wendigo, who's done a 37.4. It's only 200ths of a second quicker though, and 200ths of a second further. We've got Simonas with a 1:37.468. So the top 3 very closely matched in terms of pace. There are less than half a second between the 3 of them in terms of pace around here. And when you think about a lap that's, it's 2.5 miles, or give or take, 16 corners, half a second is Formula 1 differences. I mean, you don't often see that in GT cars. But there we go. That's what we've got right now. So 3 minutes to start. So if you're on a lap now, you're going to finish it and get one more, depending on, of course, where you're on the lap. But it looks to me that Wendigo has settled for that 1:37.1 that he's just put in. Phenomenal lap from him. So currently that puts Wendigo in pole position. He will be joined out front by Simonas, I think. Yes, Simonas will join him on that front row. MT96 on row 2 alongside Fizz Rockas. Tom and Guy on row 3. With Rollins Dariukas on row 4, Paz Kozas, Dynasty row 5, Shady and Mr. J on row 6. Row 7 will be Atanas and Wendigo, with then Aldrox and Arminis at the very... Well, Arminis is quicker than that, surely. I'm sure Arminis has done a much quicker time than that. So I think it'll be Mr. J and Atanas at the back of the pack. Although Aldrox looks to be struggling for pace at the moment. He certainly is struggling for pace. No, he's not. There we go. It is making itself correct again. Very annoying this, isn't it? That PD can't keep them in order of where they qualify. If they decide to go in the pits, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But that's a moan for another day, isn't it? So that 1:37.1 from Wendigo, just outside my prediction of getting under 1:37. He's done that with 0.3 quicker than Simonas. So that half a second between them has opened right out now to, well, actually, it's still half a second. And then we've got half a second back to fourth. So basically, we've got a second. Second separates Wendigo, Simonas, MT96, and Fizz Rockas. Just outside a second, we've got Tom. So actually, the spread across the whole field, the spread is 1.1 seconds, it says here. 1.8, 2.5 seconds Arminis is back, 3.2 Mr. J's back. I suppose I can look at that bit and kind of where everyone is. 3.4 for Atanas. So in a minute, Mr. J just getting better of Atanas out the back of the pack. 2.7 back for Aldrox. Dynasty 1.8, 1.7 Paz Kozas. Dariukas 1.4 back. Ronnie's 1.2 off that pace. Mr. J 3.2, Atanas 3.4. Back up the road again. There is Guy. 1 minute till the start. So they have got this lap they are on, and they better hope they've only got a minute left, because when they cross the line, the race will begin. Guy currently sitting 1.1 seconds off the leader. He won last time out. The current leader is the current championship leader. So the current championship leader starts this race from pole position. And we've just lost, a minute before the race starts, we've just lost Shady from the room. I hope that is not a terminal disconnection, and he joins us before this race starts. Certainly hope so anyway. It's always good to have a full lobby because it gives you loads of shit to talk about. And there's much more chance of a big crash as well. And people love nothing more when watching some racing is bits of metal smashing against each other at high speed. Alongside some great overtaking, of course, and some very fair racing. But there he is. There is the... Well, I say there is the pole sitter. Not anymore, because Simonas has done a number there and done a 1:37.116. What a lap from him. That is a phenomenal lap. So everybody now in the pits. Are we going to see Shady back on track? Certainly doesn't look that way. He's not rejoined the room yet. Is that going to be a terminal connection problem? So before we start, what's coming up on Black Flag TV? Well, yesterday was my first outing with GT Champions. That was pretty damn awesome. And that's coming up again next week. But tomorrow, we've got the GR4 lottery back again. Round number 3, I think we're at now already. Proving to be a very, very popular tournament. So that is lined up for Monday. Wednesday, we have a brand new GR3 tournament. Brand new for, it will take us up to Christmas. So that will be starting on Wednesday. Pre-registration for that is required because the GR3s are very popular. So if you can, jump on the jump on our Discord and get involved in that if you want to. Are we leaving the room because of connection issues? Are we, or what's going on? Everyone's disappearing, so it seems everyone's exiting out. I will do the same, just so everyone can get back into the room. Red X, there we go, Red X. Obviously I don't need to Red X because I wasn't already ticked in. There we go, he's done it now. And I obviously need to tick in and then tick back out again, just to prevent any further issues. Yeah, so what else is going on at Black Flag? We've got the GR3 starting on Wednesday. That's going to be awesome. I hope we can maintain a good level of competition in that particular one. Then Saturday we're back with Super Formula Saturday. Fantastic set of 3 races this week we went at Barcelona to where we were at the Nürburgring. Absolutely brilliant set of races, and looking forward to that coming up again Saturday. Then obviously in the early hours of Saturday morning we are back for round 5, season 4 round 5 of GT Champions. That'll be at 1:30 in the morning here, 8:30 p.m. New York time, New York. And then of course we're back here again next week for round 5 already, wow. But first we've got to do round 4, and that is what we are waiting to start now. I think everyone's in, apart from Shady. Shady hasn't made it back in the room. There we go, he has made it back in the room. Is he going to tick in? And let's go. Well, I think Shady will start from the back as well because he got disconnected. I don't think he's going to be able to... Oh, actually, I think it may have retained his qualifying time. Or did it? Let's have a look. Where's Simos? Oh, yes, there he is. It's not showing any of the times now. Right, so the race is now starting. Full starts will be penalised. They've got to be careful with that full start. So we've got Simonas on pole, Wendigo alongside him, MT96 in 3rd, Guy in 4th. They're the 4 to watch out for. They're the guys that can easily pull off up this racetrack. There is 3 lights, there is 4 lights, there is 5 lights. And you know what we're going to have to do in a second, don't you, when they pull away. And they are away. Let's go further down the pack actually, just make sure everyone gets away cleanly. And they are away cleanly. We do this quickly and we go back in the room. There we go, because our PD can't code a fucking camera. So there we go, in the lead, Simonas from pole position. Wendigo already moving down the order. MT96 up into 2nd place. And Simonas is setting out his stall already. He is already 8 tenths clear and looking to pull away as much as possible. MT96 not going to let that happen though. So who's running what tyres? Simonas 1.2 clear, running the racing hard tyres. MT96 also on those hards. As you see, Fizz Ruckus and Wendigo side by side into that hairpin. Both through cleanly. No touching there. Wendigo on the medium tyres. So actually that's hurt him a little bit. Losing that place to MT96, but he is crawling on the back. Is there an opportunity up the inside here? He just tucks in behind. He's still got Fizz Ruckus for company. Fizz Ruckus looking to do a switch back on him. Can't make it work there. As we come into the last few corners here, we've got this right-hander. Very tricky turn here. You've got to stay on the power as much as possible. Round to this left-hand side. And this is where the slipstream comes into play. Simonas has done the sensible thing. He's 1.9 seconds clear. He's not giving up in his slipstream, but the rest of these guys are. Fizz Ruckus, Guy, Wendigo. Oh, Guy with a great move up the inside there. He is side by side with Fizz Ruckus, but only one of them is going to be getting the slipstream, and that is Fizz Ruckus, but he's not getting a lot. Wendigo picking up loads from King Bob, absolutely loads. And that is going to pull him down. He's going to make this move up into turn 1 and retake 2nd in this race. They are side by side. The power of the AMG just keeping it there. But the inside line is for Wendigo. He takes the inside line. He's up and he's ahead of MT96. Very well done with that move. Very clean. Quite easy there when you're side by side to make a mistake. So MT96 goes down into 3rd place. We haven't even got out of the top 4 yet to see what's going on. But Simonas just pulling away. 2 seconds clear already of the chasing pack. So Wendigo on the medium tyres in second. MT96 running hard tyres behind him. If he can keep up with Wendigo here on those tyres, he's in for a really, really good chance at a top 3 finish. Fizz Ruckus also running those medium tyres. He's currently sitting in 4th place, dropping a little bit off that top 3, and he's got Guy, the winner last time out, in the 911 for company, also running those racing medium tyres. Dariukas, oh, big shunt there from Paz Kozas in the back of Dariukas. I'm sure the stewards will be having a good look at what happened there, but that was a big shunt, and that puts Dariukas all the way down into 13th place. Is there any damage? Well, Danis D has a massive penalty, huge penalty for Danis D, 5 seconds. Any damage though to Paz Kozas after that hit? Well, none that we can see. So he got away with that in terms of that. Making a move there on Tom up into 6th place. But Tom not letting it happen. And the Alpha just getting a little bit more traction out of that corner with the Alpha. But there we go. Paz Kozas is tucking in the slipstream. Is he going to be close enough to pull out now and let that slingshot him past? Or are they too close now to turn 1? Lot later on the brakes, can he get that turned in and maintain the inside line? Certainly looks like he can, and he does. Brakes so much later than Tom does there, and gets up into 6th place. But I think he might be looking at penalty, because it certainly looked to me that he gave a little love tap there to Dariukas, I think it was. Loses the place again though. He's back through. Tom just behind him. Looking to try and make a move somewhere. There is Shady. Thought we were going to lose him, but he's back in the room. Comfortably in 8th in that AMG at the moment. Still on the back of that battle between Paz Kozas and Tom. He's got Rollers for company in the McLaren. Just under a second behind. If he can maintain that, we're going to have a bit of a slipstream train going down to start lap 4. Aldriox also in that McLaren. 1.5 seconds behind that battle at the moment. He's got Etanas for company, who has Dariukas there, just a second behind him. Arminis in 13th at the moment. Danis D. It was actually Danis D that got spun out. I'm going to say he got spun out. It may be that the lag showed something different, but it looked to me certainly that Paz Kozas absolutely melted Danis D and took him out of this race. But Mr. J already 34 seconds back, 51 seconds off of this man here, Simonas, and that gap is no longer 2 seconds. That gap is under half a second. Wendigo on the straight has really closed up on the back of that NSX of Simonas and looking to try and get himself into a decent track position. Bear in mind that Simonas out front is running those hard tyres. Wendigo on those mediums, so he will be running a little bit longer. We're on lap 4 of 31 laps here around Fuji. There is Wendigo currently running in 2nd place. 3 seconds ahead now they are from MT96. So can't maintain on those hard tyres, can't maintain the pace of the 2 guys out in front in that AMG. And he's got Guy on those medium tyres, crawling all over the back of him. Fizrokas not out of that picture either. So 3rd place certainly not secure for MT96 at this stage of the race. Trying to make a move on MT96, but doesn't this time out. And it looks to me that he's being held up a little bit here. Not quite quick enough to pass, but MT96 doing a great job defensively and just blocking him off. Now, the problem for MT96 here is that brings Fizrokas into play. And he could potentially see himself having 2 cars go around him when they're on different strategies. Now, he might not know they're on different strategies, but he'll certainly know what pace he's on. And Guy gets a great exit there. He's certainly going to take him within the slipstream. Really tucked in very well behind. And look at this. Let's go on board with Fizrokas because he can watch the battle from his car. Not quite close enough to Guy. I think Guy is getting such a good slipstream. He's not able to benefit from it as much. Guy got the inside line. He is making that turn now and goes up into 3rd place. So makes that move up into 3rd place. Sorry about that, someone knocking on my door this time of night, which is a bit late for me getting a bit late for people to be knocking on the door, and certainly a bit late for us to be going out and knocking on their door. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to get back to me.
Sorry again for that, guys. Right, Wendigo has managed to take the lead off this race from Simonas. He is a second clear now in that Porsche 911. Simonas can't get close enough to get his slipstream on those hard tyres. He will be running a little bit longer than Wendigo, but Wendigo has got the pace in that 911 at the moment. Guy up into third, made the move on MT96. Fizruckus also now through, and I said that he was holding up Guy for so long, and where he was defending he wasn't getting the pace, and that just dragged Fizruckus into that battle. And actually I think he probably cost himself another position just by spending so much time holding Guy behind him. At this stage of the race, if you're on different strategies, let the guy go. You can run your own race and you can worry about the guys behind further back, and I think Fizruckus would have taken a bit longer to get round him had that been the case. So he's now back in 5th place, but that gap now to Tom, 4.1 seconds, with Paz Kozas, who may be seeing a penalty coming his way, currently running in 7th, just 1 second behind. There is Shady. Shady did make it back in the room in the AMG, 4.2 behind that battle for 6th place. We've got Rollers, we've got Itanas. Rollers trying to make a move there on Shady, doesn't come off this time, but very, very close. And if he gets a good exit out of turn 16, the slipstream certainly, a big wobble at the back of the car though, that's going to hurt him with being close enough to pick up the slipstream. But he does manage to stick with him, and actually it looks like Shady had a really poor exit out of turn 14. So there is Rollers there now, tucking in behind, trying to pick up the slipstream in at the back of Paz Kozas. Shady already loses out. Yeah, Shady already been passed. Etanas 1.1 seconds behind, not benefiting from the slipstream of that battle ahead. Aldriox 1 second behind that, and another 1.2 seconds back to Dariukas. Sorry about that, guys. So back to the front of the grid. Wendigo, he's now 2 seconds clear, but if you look at the tyres on that left-hand side, he is going to be struggling a little bit for grip very, very soon. Probably got another 2, maybe 3 laps in those tyres before he needs to go in and pit. There is Simonas. He will stay out a bit longer. He's on those hard tyres, so he can run a bit longer. Will the undercut be any good to them here? Neither of these two cars picking up slipstream as the front 3 start to open out a little bit. Guy also running those medium tyres with a 1.5 second penalty and a big loss of grip. Now, bearing in mind where the penalty line is, it wouldn't be too much of a hardship for Guy to pull into the pits on this lap here and serve the penalty there when he's slowing down for the pits anyway. That's the single biggest loss, or single smallest loss, should I say, when serving a penalty. So that tied in quite well with that pit window. Little bit of an exploit there, but good. So we've seen Wendigo go in. Guy has gone in. Fizruckus also in. It's just the hard tyre runners left out on the track. Simonas now, he's 8.1 seconds clear on the hard tyres. He will need to pit in about 5 or 6. A big slide though in the NSX. That is not going to do his tyres any good, sliding the car around like that. MT96. So at the moment it's the NSX and it's the very, very quick, very solid AMG in the top 2 positions. Tom in the 4C, sticking with the barrel. He's also on the medium tyres. He's going to be coming in very soon, but he's done a good job actually at taking those a little bit longer than some of the front runners. Will the fact he can take this And with a bit of bravery, I think he could probably take it another lap, because he's certainly not dropping off in terms of pace at the moment, just putting his best lap of the race. So he can stay out for another lap on these tyres. We are 12 minutes in, lap 8 of 31 laps here around the Fuji International Speedway. And everything out front has changed with the pit window. Pascosa's up into 4th. He's also on those medium tyres. Again, done a good job of preserving those in that McLaren. So can hold out just a little bit longer. The ones that have gone in early, is it going to be a struggle for them later on in the race? Are they going to have to preserve their tyres a little bit more in the middle sector of this race? Wendigo comes out of the pits in 5th place. He's again gone with those medium tyres. He pits at the end of lap 7, which means we'll see him in at the end of either lap 14 or 15 before he goes in. So he's back up into 3rd as Pascosas and Tom both put into the pits. I thought they both could have stayed out for another lap, to be fair. They certainly had enough on the tyres to do that. That strategy would have worked much better for them had they done so. Otherwise, they may as well have just gone in with these guys. Rollins stays out. He's on those hard tyres. We're going to see these hard tyre runners staying out to somewhere around. I actually think they can hang these cars out until a lot of those that went in on the end of lap 7 go in for their second stop on lap 14/15. So Shady still running well, not doing so well on his tyres though. He's taking a lot out of those hard tyres, so the AMG not quite looking after tyres as well on Shady as they are for MT96. Seems to be doing a much better job on those tyres. He will need to come in a bit sooner. He will probably come in at the end of lap 11 or 12. Simonis can hang out there a bit longer, although the rear's looking a little bit ropey on the NSX. But Rollins is in a very, very strong position. He's only 20 seconds off the lead of this race. His tyres are looking absolutely brilliant. Now, he did do a masterstroke of a 1 stop in the last race, or tried to. I think in the end his pace just wasn't quite there. But being that he's less than a pit stop behind Simonis at the moment, with significantly more laps left on his tyres. So this could turn out to be a very, very hot strategy for Rollins, and I'll keep an eye on this. If he can hang this out until Wendigo, Guy, those runners are winning on lap 7 go in again, he's going to be in a very, very strong position and probably will pit for the lead of this race. But Shady up to 5th place, and we thought we were going to lose him at one stage, but he got back in the room, and now he's up there amongst those front runners. 1.92 seconds back from Rollins at the moment on those hard tyres. Couple of laps at best left in that car. Dariukas 1.7 back in the 911, also on those hard tyres. Can run to lap 12, lap 13. Certainly got the fuel to do so. Fuel not really a factor at the moment for these guys. Tom in the 4C, he pit early, pit at the end of lap 7. Not worked out too well for him in terms of track position though. He's way back at the moment. He's 28 seconds off the back of Simonas. The 28 seconds is just under a pit window. But he's got Wendigo has already pit. He's sitting up in 3rd place. He's going to have to pit again based on his last pit. At the same time that Rollins in front of him is going to be pitting. There is Guy, 4.2 seconds back. He's switched to those hard tyres. He's going to be running for a good 14, 15 laps if he can look after those tyres, which will take him well into the final stages of this race. In fact, if he takes this 15 laps, he can chuck on the softer compound and absolutely melt the last few laps. Simonis jumps in. Probably a lap earlier than he needed to, but I think for safety's sake that was a pretty good idea. MT96 also jumps in. Wendigo is promoted to the lead of this race, but remember he's still got to run the hard compound tyres. He's only been on the medium so far, so he will have to stop again, and that will be somewhere around lap 14, lap 15. He came in at the end of lap 7, beginning of lap 8. So with a bit of fuel saving, he may hang it out there a bit longer, but I can't see that happening. So Rollins, there we go, I called it, he's up into 2nd. He's only 8 seconds behind Wendigo. He's got about the same life of tyres on those hards that Wendigo has in the mediums in front of him. Shady also up into the top 3. He will need to pit at the end of this lap. That front tyre, there's going to be no grip in that front left tyre. He's going to need to pit and replace those tyres as quickly as possible. Dariukas, another couple of laps left in there. Lap 12 pit for me. Tom, he is the next runner that has already pit once, currently sitting in 5th. The position is not a bad position. He's 14 seconds though behind Wendigo, and that's the battle that he's currently. That's who he's currently racing. He's racing Wendigo. He's racing Simonas. Those guys have already pitted. He's 15 seconds back from that battle. He's tucked in though behind Dariukas. Can he make another position here with the slipstream? This is a 3-strong train. So Dariukas making some slipstream himself from the back of Shady, and Tom from the back of Dariukas. And it really depends whether any of these pull into the pits, or any of the two in front of him pull into the pits. Be disastrous for him if they do, because he's going to lose all that lovely slipstream. And everyone loves a little bit of toe. He pulls straight out though of the toe. For me, you need to stay in there to get the momentum. You don't just pull straight out. Shady pulls over to the side. He's in behind Shady now, using Shady as a kind of tow rope to pull him past Dariukas up into 4th place. Very clever. He's not able to make 3rd stick though, or is he? Up into turn 1. He's side by side with Shady. He's got the inside line. Dariukas, is he going to follow him through and take 4th place? He doesn't, but they are 3 abreast going through there, and this battle is really raging on. Let's go on board with Dariukas and just watch how close this battle is. And Simonas actually getting dragged into this battle now as well. Look at that. He has already pit. He's in that NSX. He's on the hard tyres now, but the car's in front. Other than Tom, of course. Tom is on those. He's on the hard tyres, but he's already pit. So these two in front now have to pit, and they are duking it out side by side. Shady, Dariukas, Shady, trading positions all the way up this racetrack. Still sticking with Tom. Big move up the inside from Simonas. This is brave, very brave move, but he does make that move stick. Does he? Where's Shady? There is Shady sticking with the battle, but great move from Simonas to take him up into 5th place. Can he take 4th now? Shady has to pit. Dariukas also has to pit, although he can hold out a little bit longer. So there we go. Dariukas back with Simonas. He goes through to chase Tom. Now, bear in mind that Wendigo, they are racing Wendigo because Rollins is going very, very long on this race. And he's clearly stayed out for another lap. So Simonas up into 4th place. Great battle on lap 12 here at Fuji International Speedway. And very fair, those guys giving each other just enough respect, but not enough to let them disappear and take the position for themselves. Excellent racing from those guys. And Shady does pull off into the pits. There is Guy, about to see what he was doing, but MT96 breezes past Guy like he wasn't even there. He's on those medium tyres, but that was a very, very solid slipstream overtake there. But the power of that AMG, we saw a move the other way around against MT96, and that when you pull out of the slipstream with AMG, you haven't quite got any, and the move had to be done on the braking. But when you've got the power of that AMG underneath you, and then you get the power of the slipstream as well, it makes it incredibly difficult to pull away from you. And as we can see, he's already nearly a second, nearly out of Guy's of giving up the slipstream to Guy. 4.6 seconds back to Fears Rockus in the Corvette C7. He is just under a pit window behind. He has already been in the pits, I believe, though. So still a lot of running to do for him. Arminis, he's not pit yet in that Supra. Not churning out very good time though last lap. Needs to get in, get those tyres changed. Danis D, the current world champion, the current reigning champion, hasn't in the last few races really performed a championship performance. Now, it could be that he has got tracks that he prefers. It could be this Lexus just isn't working for him, and he may play his token and change his car. But I'll tell you what he's going to do first. These two are going to pull off to that right-hand side, and they're going to change those god-awful tyres. So, Dariukas in, Danis D not in. Danis D staying out. Is that a bold strategy? He certainly was quite quick last lap. He wasn't any slouch, so he's not affected by the tyres. But Paz Kozas manages to get past him this time without putting him off the track. Great move there from Paz Kozas. Up into 8th place. Tanas is just on the back of that slipstream, pulling him along. 1.3 seconds on those medium tyres. Another pit stop ensues for him very soon. Aldriox, did Aldriox just have a spin? Because he wasn't going very fast. He's 12.9 seconds back. He's got damage on that front suspension and the front aero. That's going to affect the performance of this car. Dariukas comes out of the pits on those medium tyres. He is 1 second behind Aldriox and closing that gap much quicker than Aldriox would like to see. This overtake is happening soon. Aldriox can't even get to the inside line there, and Dariukas on that outlap breezes past up into 11th. Shady comes out of the pits. He's in 13th place, 16.2 seconds back from that battle at the moment. He has filled to the brim. He has put on hard tyres. He's going long, long, long. Arminis in that Toyota Supra comes out of the pits, 10 seconds behind Shady, but 34 clear of Mr. J. So anyway, we've been down the order. Let's go back out front, and there is Wendigo, the current leader. He's 19 seconds clear. He's pitting now. This is his pit window, lap 15. Rollins has yet to pit. He can pit this lap. He's only 22 seconds behind Wendigo. This is a great performance from Rollins again. Loves the fuel saving and tyre saving. Does a really good job of that. But Wendigo currently dominating this race. Fastest lap of the race with a 1:38.6, and he's going to pull into the pits and change those tyres, but currently running the medium tyres. Tom starting to show some very solid pace now in that Alpha. Is 19 seconds back, got some work to do, but can go a couple of laps longer. So for me, we'll probably take the lead of this race, albeit very briefly. He won't. If he wobbles like that though, he'll find himself disappearing right off the track. And I actually had my drink about nearly an hour ago. I haven't drunk anything yet. There we go. So Wendigo, as I said, went into the pits 20 seconds clear. We'll see Mr. J. Is he going to pull off and try and drop that slipstream? No. But Tom getting a great slipstream off the back of Mr. J there. Both very, very green, those cars. And he pulls out very easily up into the lead of this race. Simona's also coming through. Is he going to get held up by Mr. J into turn 1? No. Breezes past the NSX, closing the gap on Tom. So it's all changed as everyone starts to go into pits. Now, some people haven't pit at all yet. Well, say some people haven't. There you go. There's his first pit stop. He is currently running 7th place. How many places is he going to lose while in those pits? Last lap wasn't very quick, as it cost him some time. So where we've got Tom is in the lead, 1 second clear of Simonas. Simonas closing up that gap. MT96 just tucking in behind Mr. J, getting involved in that battle, currently in 3rd. Guy is currently running in 4th place. Pit window going to open for him shortly. Some of the medium runners actually have done quite a good job. I think Tom could probably hang this out to lap 17 before he pits. I suppose it depends. Well, he hasn't got a lot of fuel really. Does he want to come in now and fuel up? That's the question. Simona's got plenty of fuel. He's on those hard tyres. Yeah, I think he's going to go back into the lead of this race for the time being. MT96 on the medium tyres, couple of laps left in there for him. Lap 18, lap 19 will be his next pit window. Guy on the hard tyres, running very, very well in 4th at the moment. 6 seconds off that battle. Is yet to pit for more fuel, more tyres. Is he going to hang out? I think he is going to hang out there for a couple more laps. I certainly would in his position. Wendigo comes back out in 5th as we see Tom pull off into the pits. Lap early for me. I think he probably could have gone one more, but Wendigo comes through. He'll regain that place from Tom. He's 2.9 seconds or 3 seconds back from Guy. Guy not getting any slipstream. neither is MT96. Simona's up into the lead of this race again. 2.1 seconds he's clear. And really getting a great performance out of that NSX. Really great performance. And I said before the race, if you can dial this in, it is a fantastic race car. MT96 in second place with Guy in third. Wendigo fourth place. Vizrukas currently running in fifth. Comfortably so as well. Just seems to be quietly doing his job there in a bit of no man's land. He's not really closing on that top four. But Paz Kozas behind 12, 13 seconds back. Now that is no man's land. 12 seconds ahead, 12 seconds behind. He can settle into his race now. Just chill out, settle in, and just let it get on with what it's doing. Do love that. I want to know what that thank you reference is for. Be interested to know what the thank you's for. But currently running very comfortably in midfield. Kind of the best of the rest really at the moment. Dariukas 11 seconds behind them. And again, no real challenge from behind. Dana Stee, 7 seconds off the pace there. He's on the medium tyres. Dana Stee's opted for the softs. Now, those softs are not going to go very long. We know the medium tyres really. 7, 8, 9 laps at a push. You can get out of them. These softs, though, very abrasive surface on these softs. Probably only 5 or 6 laps at a very, very maximum of proper working temperature. Ron is back out in 9th place. He's got some damage though to his suspension, so went very, very long. Didn't pit until the end of lap 16, I think it was. Comes back out on those medium tyres, looking to do 2 stints of mediums, quite racy. But a bit of damage there to the car, to the suspension, and to the aero is going to cost him a little bit of time. He needs to try and close up on Dana Stee if he can. Tom was briefly in the lead of the race, came back out in 10th place, got the slipstream on Rollers. Is he going to regain 9th place again? He certainly won't be going to the end of this race on those tyres, I can tell you that for nothing, or the way he's been using them anyway. So he went in last lap, so he did 8 laps last time, between 7 and 8 laps he's managed to do on those tyres. So if he does 8 laps, that's going to take him there or thereabouts, 26 laps, leaving him possibly just the softs to the end. But he's currently running now in 9th place. Easy overtake on Rollins, but they're on very, very different strategies. There is Shady, currently running in 11th place on those hard tyres. 4 seconds back from Rollins at the moment, with a penalty to serve. 1.5 seconds. Don't know where he's picked that up from, but he's going to serve it. There's a Tanas behind him who's going to take that position when he sees Shady serve that penalty. And MT96 pulls into the pits at the end of lap 18. That sends Wendigo through into second. That sends Guy through into third. So the top 3 all change again. Simonas in the lead, 9 seconds clear on those medium tyres. I think the fuel is going to run out before the tyres do here though. Wendigo certainly is. Simonas out front with hard tyres on. Again, he's going to have to pit very soon. Probably around the same sort of time, actually, fuel-wise, as Wendigo. But Wendigo's got the benefit of faster tyres. He's currently in second, 9.8 seconds back. 3.8 further back to Guy, who will pit probably at the end of this lap. Looking very, very dangerous on that left-hand side front tyre. Vizrukas 5.2 seconds behind him. Also needing to pit in the next lap. Maybe the next 2 laps. But can he put on tyres to take him to the end? Will Guy put on tyres to take him to the end as well? That's the question. Now, lap 20. You're not going to do that on medium tyres. You would have to be crazy to put on mediums. But you can put on hards and run to the end. Is that the ploy here? Paz Kozas in 5th place currently. 12.9 seconds back on those hard tyres. He's going to have to pit again. But not for a few laps yet, and might be able to run this to the end of the race on some soft compounds. MT96 on the medium tyres. Again, we'll need to pit. He's not going to take those to the end, so we'll need to pit again. Fuel-wise, I think he's going to struggle as well. I think he's going to need a little bit more fuel to make it to the end of this race. Currently running in 6th place. I think anyone pitting now needs to be putting hard tyres on and putting a bit more fuel in their car. because it's quite a long pit here. So Guy and Fizrokas both into the pits. So we'll have it all changing that top three. Simonas 8.9 seconds clear of Wendigo. Is Paz Kozas going to come through? Is he going to go in the pits? Well, it looks to me like he's going through. But do Guy and Fizrokas get out? No, they don't. Paz Kozas up into third. MT96 coming up into fourth place. They are both through, as is Dariukas. Where is Guy? Still in the pits. Fizrokas still in the pits. Dangerous D, is he coming through now as well? He is. He's through into sixth place. So, all changed. Tom also through into seventh. Very long pit stop. Rollins through into eighth place. Guy doesn't come out. Does he come out ahead of Rollins? Just comes out ahead of Rollins. 1.2 seconds. But that gap is going to close. His tyres need to get up to speed. He's gone for the hard tyres. He's fueled to the end. That was Guy's last stop. Is that strategy the right one? I think so. I think that's the wisest strategy there. We know that Tom is going to have to stop again. Dangerous Deeks most certainly going to have to stop. Dariuka's definitely going to stop. MT96 definitely going to stop. Paz Kozas definitely going to stop. Wendigo and Simona's definitely going to stop. So that puts Tom, that puts Guy in a very, very clever position. I mean, he's 58 seconds back, but he can get the pedal down now while these guys out in front all have to pit. Don't know if he can close up all of it, but he can certainly get himself back up around that top three. And here we see MT96 making a move on Paz Kozas to go into the top three and on the straight. Now, would he be better off hanging in behind and picking up some slipstream just to improve that lap time a little bit, give him a chance to save some fuel? That's what I would have done personally, but he's made the move up into turn 16, and Paz Kozas gets the benefit of some slipstream and some fuel saving as they come down to turn 1 for the 21st time out of 31 laps. There are 10 laps left in this race, and I've got to say the service of PD this evening are bloody awful in terms of lag. I'm looking at the feed I'm getting back, and it's bloody awful. I begin to wonder now if that little crash I saw earlier wasn't just lag, and it was nothing to do with crashing. But since the update, it's been fucking awful. Anyway, Simonas in the lead, 6.7 seconds clear. Will he pit this lap? I think so. Wendigo won't. Wendigo's got a couple more laps left in him on those medium tyres. Now, Simonas on the hards, Wendigo on the mediums. Wendigo being the fastest man out there with a 48.7. How much can he capitalise on this pit stop of Simonas? Now, Simonas going to go in. He'll pit 4 hard tyres, run to the end of the race. I'm not convinced that anyone can take mediums. Big slider though, is that going to cost him some time? Very luckily, gets into the auto drive before he hits the wall. So Wendigo will go through. This is where he needs to push. It looks to me that he is holding back a little bit. If you look at that top speed there, it looks like he's just fuel mapping a bit. And I think this is the point where you've taken the lead. You want to build a gap here. You stick it on fuel map number 1, and you absolutely fucking melt this car. You can get 2 more laps out of this at full beans. 2 laps takes you to lap 23. You can put those mediums on and run to the end on the mediums at that stage. But Simonas in the pits, Paz Kozas in the pits, MT96, 29 seconds back from Wendigo at the moment. So that is an entire pit stop Wendigo has on MT96, who I think if he thinks he's running to the end like that, I think he's not done his maths. He's not running to the end on those tyres. Nobody has done more than 9 laps on medium tyres all day. And at the end of race pace, I think you're going to struggle, particularly in a car that it's very, very heavy already on that front left. So Simonas comes out in 3rd place. He's on the hard tyres. He's going to run to the end. He's 33 seconds back from Wendigo. Wendigo, I think, needs to open that gap up a bit. Has he gone like full beans quick? He certainly did on lap 20. He did a 38.7. Did a 38.9 on the previous lap compared to Simonas doing 39s. So actually, I think Wendigo might have full beansed it. He's stayed out for 1 more lap. I think with the fuel he's got there and the fact he's going to have to save a little bit, I think he should have gone in, actually, and just gone on hards, because he risks that gap closing up too much. And he wants to keep that cushion of still potentially getting out in front of Simonas from the pit stop. But if you can run this here and then put on the mediums, it's actually not a bad shout to the end of this race. We're on lap 23 of 31. So a pitting here gives him 6, 7 laps, 8 laps that he's got to run on the medium tyres. So MT96 will have to pit again. He won't take this to the end. So not sure where he's going to end up. But Dariukas goes in for his final stop from 4th place. Tom will go through. Tom also not running to the end on those tyres. He goes through though at this stage. Guy is now going to run to the end. He's 4.4 seconds back. He will make up a couple of places though as these people start piling into the pits. Ron is there, 4.4 seconds behind Guy. With a decent gap for 4 plus seconds of this run, guys. We'll have to pit again. Is he going to repair the damage? Well, I would have thought so. And that's going to hold him up in the pit a little bit longer. Should he have stayed on the one-stop strategy? For me, it seemed that was going to be the sort of plan. Hasn't worked out that way, though. And I think the damage has kind of changed the plan for him. But because he hasn't been that quick on those medium tyres. In order to make this work for him, he needed to be super quick on the medium. So here we go. This is the big test. Wendigo is pulling into the pits now. MT96 just rounding that turn 16. We know that he's going to have to pit again. So I don't think we're going to be too concerned. Or certainly Wendigo won't know that this guy doesn't have to pit again. But MT96 will take the lead of this race at this stage. The key here is where Simonas comes out. Simonas is there. Wendigo is there, still in the pits. Looks to me like Simonas is going to take the lead of this race from Wendigo. Now he's running those hard tyres. He's got sufficient fuel to the end. That's not a problem. What sort of pace is he going to get out of those hard tyres? Wendigo comes out 2.8 seconds back, running medium tyres. Good amount of fuel. Fuel saving not really going to be an issue for either of these two. I think this is going to be a pedal to the metal, balls out race to the line between Simonas and Wendigo. Wendigo looking to grab every point he can. He's at the top of the leaderboard at the moment. Won race number 1, won race number 2. Couldn't win last week. Guy managed that one, but he did pick up a solid 20 points last week. Looking to pick up some solid points again this week and keep that lead at the top of the leaderboard going into race number 5. He is 2.8 seconds back now from Simonas. The top 3, 16 seconds clear of Tom. Tom will have to pit. Guy will not have to pit. I think Guy is a good outside favourite for a top 3 here because we know that 2 of those 4 ahead of him still have to go into the pits. So I think we could potentially be looking at Simonas or Wendigo with Guy coming in 3rd place. Just getting a drink of water. Ronnie's strategy worked for him, but still solid in 6th place. Will have to stop again. Fizruckus behind won't. How badly is that going to affect Ronnie's position? So what are we looking at? So we've got 2 seconds there, 4 seconds there, 8 seconds there. This could cost him big. This could really cost him big, as we see Dariukas trying to make a move on Paz Kozas into this final sector of the Fuji International Speedway, as Kozas again just closing off that inside line. Not going to let Dariukas to go easy. It's going to be a difficult battle, but to hold him off, he's on the medium tyres. It's going to be very difficult to hold him off for all of this race, and he's already getting a very good exit in that Porsche. He's tucked right in behind Kozas now and closing up that gap, and he's in the slipstream, less than half a second behind. We know how strong it is. Kozas not even trying to break the slip here as Ronnie goes in for his final stop. Dariukas now in that slipstream, closing. Kozas keeping in the middle of the road, just trying to break the slip at the last minute. Does quite a good job of breaking it there. As the momentum's building, takes that inside line. Can he hold him off? He can't. Just so much more grip in those medium tyres. We'll say that, but he does. It goes a little bit wide as Dariukas, which allows Paz Kozas to take the position back. This battle is going to rage. It's not going to stop. Here we go, Paz Kozas still on the inside line. Frustrating Dariukas. Cannot get past him. He's got a much faster tyres. he's in a much better position. But Paz Kozas just putting the car in all the right places. And, you know, it's the old adage in racing, it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. And on a track like this, where it's a very quick track, the only way you're getting past is with a really good slipstream or a really solid overtake where there's a gap left. He's looking up the inside here, thinks better of it. That could have gone horribly wrong. If he clips the back of Paz Kozas there, I think it cost them both any decent points in this race at all. So an entire lap has been in behind him. They are now excuse me, coming up on the back of Shady. Does Shady play into this? Well, not really, because he's just disappeared off the side of the track. Paz Kozas is through. Shady completely on the wrong part of the racetrack. Dariukas also through. Shady just gave that up like he didn't want to race there. Don't know quite what was going on there with him, but that'll be why, because his tyres are fooked. So he goes into the pits. There we go. Paz Kozas is still ahead of Dariukas. Dariukas not close enough this time round to make it work. So the battle does not rage on, and Paz Kozas does a good job of holding him off. So where are we now? We are lap 26 to 31. MT96 is 4.9 seconds clear of Simonas. Simonas is running to the end on racing hard tyres. He's got Mr. J. He's got a lap just in front of him. Wendigo's cut that gap to 1.5 seconds. The battle going to rage on. Can he close up enough here and pick up any slipstream? Doesn't look like he's close enough here. Simona's certainly not close enough to Mr. J to pick anything up. But trying for his dear life just to get something as Mr. J pulls off to that right hand side. But MT96 is in the pits. Simonas will take the lead in this race. Wendigo will be second. MT96 and here comes Guy, as I predicted, to take third place in this race. Or will he? Is he close enough? Because MT96 only needs a splash and a dash, and the only tyres he needs to put on are soft tyres now to run to the end. So there we go. There's the dash of tyres. Here's the splash of fuel. What's next? Where is Guy? Here comes Guy. Was that MT96 coming out of the pits? They are side by side, but Guy has the momentum into turn one. He's just ahead. MT96 are on those soft tyres in a car that's very quick in a straight line. Can he make it count for him? Guy does get into the top three, but that was a good stop from Guy. Certainly pulled out some speed towards the end of that stint to negate the loss in the pits there. Very, very good strategy from him. Fizrokos running in fifth place, not going to close the gap on those guys there, but it certainly doesn't look like Tom behind him has got anything to give to close up that gap. For a lot of the race, Tom's been running in and around that top three, but too many stops for me, and it's not the first time we've seen this from Tomosis. He likes to go on softer tyres and stop more, and sometimes that's just not the right strategy. You need to have a mixture of strategies throughout the race, because the pit stops here are just brutal in terms of time. Dariukas in fifth. He has finally got himself past Paz Kozas up into seventh place. Don't know if there's enough time for him to catch Tom. Looking at his lap times, his best lap times are 39.4. Tom has been doing actually not so well lately. 41.5s have been his latest. He certainly hasn't put in a quick lap for some time. Is he starting to lose touch with that Alpha 4C? Paz Kozas, 41.7, 42.1, 41.4. Relatively consistent, but just starting to drop off Dariukas. Danis D is in ninth place, but he's 11.9 seconds back. No pressure, I don't think, from Itanas. He's on the hard tyres. Itanas running the mediums, but I think the fuel situation for Itanas is a little bit dire. Lap 27 of 31. He's going to need to splash and dash, I think, or fuel map 6, and hope, just hope that the gods of the petrol, the combustion engine are kind to him. But it looks to me like he's going to pull in and splash and dash. That's going to cost him some places. So Rollis will come through, currently in 11th. He had to pit again. Strategy worked for him. If he needed to be quicker, took some damage, and that really put paid to that strategy of going long in the first stint. finds himself now in 10th place. Tanas might not stay ahead of Shady. I think it looks like Shady's going to come through and take that position. He does. Arminis, I think, is too far back. But out front, Simonis, only half a second now from Wendigo. He's got some slipstream on Arminis at the back, which is helping him at the moment. But Wendigo, why is Wendigo not picking up that slipstream there? Surely that's, you need to be tucked in there. Save a bit of fuel. Get pulled along the road. But Simonis, much better use of the slipstream down that pit straight. So we go into lap 29 of 31. It is Simonis, half a second ahead of Wendigo. Wendigo, the current championship leader, and Simonis certainly looking to make inroads into the championship. MT96 has got around Guy, so those soft tyres, so much more grip. And Guy was briefly in the top 3, but trashed my prediction of staying there. And he's going to struggle a little bit with those tyres now. He's not going to be under any pressure for Fitzrock behind. He's too busy worrying about Tom, and I think Tom's going to catch Fitzrockus in these final stages of this race. He's on those medium tyres. He's got plenty of fuel. Fitzrockus has just got to start thinking about the grip on that front left. He certainly can't be thinking about chasing Guy. Guy at the moment, good on fuel, not so great on tyres. He's going to have to back off this battle a little bit. MT96, I think, a solid third now. Not going to be caught by Guy. Nowhere near getting involved in this battle out front. And look out the battle out front. Look how close they are. Again, Wendigo not tucking in nice and tiny, unless he does now. But he initially didn't tuck in very tightly. And I think Simonis is being saved by, it's literally saved by back markers. Again, Wendigo pulling out. Doesn't need to stay in that slipstream. No point pulling out that early. You're not getting any benefit there. And Tanas now keeping Simonis ahead. Is Simonis going to win this race because the back markers keep him in it? He doesn't seem to be making too much effort to get round at Tanas. Certainly quite happy to pick up the slip here. And we know he's a lot quicker than him. Does make the move now. Is Tanas going to come into play? Does he stay to that left-hand side? Obviously, Wendigo worried about little touch there, but Wendigo is through safely. I actually thought Tanas was going to wipe him out then under blue flags and end this epic battle on the penultimate lap already. 50 minutes into the race. There's 8/10. The back marker there just holding him up a little bit. Simonis getting around a lot easier. Fuel-wise, he's a little bit better off. Wendigo's been pushing, but the reason being, he hasn't utilised the slipstream well. Simonis has been really, really good with tucking in nice and tight, not leaving any pockets either side, getting the slipstream really working for him. Whereas Wendigo's just been pulling out of it a little bit too early and not taking all the benefit that there is to have from it. But Simonis been very lucky with back markers. He hasn't got a back marker here, so he's just giving up slipstream. But again, very slow to get into it, but he's weaving. Doesn't want to give up anything. Wendigo not getting enough tow here on lap 31. He's going to have to push. Does he have the fuel to push? Does he have the tyres to push? He's just under 8/10 of a second behind Simonis right now. Simonis on those hard tyres, but he's in the NSX, which can be a very, very quick car. As he starts pulling away, I think Wendigo's going to struggle. Wendigo's only opportunity here is to just melt the car now. Absolutely smash every apex, hit every single curb, use all the road, all of the accelerator he can, and just try and close up that gap. He's 21 seconds clear of MT96. There is nothing stopping him from having a little go here. He's got the fuel to make it to the end, I think. Even if he goes pedal to metal. MT96, 20 seconds back. He's got very little fuel as well. He's not catching him up. But look at that gap now as they come into the final sector. He is tucked in right under that wing of Simonis, crawling all over the boot of that Corvette out in front of him. So the NSX out in front of him. It is Japan versus Germany. It is Porsche versus Nissan. And is there a move on here? Is he close enough? Is he going to make this move now? Looks at the move up the inside. Really tucked in well. Needs to get in that slipstream. Does have a bit of a wobble. He's in the slipstream. He needs to just get a little bit closer. Try and pull out. Is Simonas going to hold him off? He's got that slipstream. He's got to pull out now. If he doesn't pull out now, he's not going to slingshot past. But I think Simonas has held him off at the end of lap 31. And that was a photo finish to the end of this race. Simonas and Wendigo, 1 and 2. Just 1/10 in it for the end of that race. MT96 will come home comfortably in third, but what a photo finish between Simonas and Wendigo. At one stage, they were almost one. It was like a human centipede of cars coming into turn 16. You could have sworn they were attached. You could have put a piece of paper between them and it would have stayed where it was as they came round turn 16. But Wendigo, with a bit of a wobble in the back of that Porsche, couldn't get the power down as quickly as the Nissan, and couldn't make that count. Guy comes home in fourth place. Good, solid performance. Couldn't hold on to third. Just too much pace in MT96. Tom home in fifth in that 4C. Vizrukas in the Corvette C7 home in sixth. Dariukas there comes home in 8th place, 7th place, with Paz Kozas in 8th. Rollis will come home in 9th place in the McLaren, with the current reigning champion Danish D again down in 10th place, way down the order. Etanas finishes in 12th. The only man on the lead lap to finish now is Shady, and Shady will finish in 11th place. Etanas in 12th, Armanis in 13th, Orgiox in 14th, and Mr. J brings up the rear in 15th place. So that's great performance there for Simonas. Great 1, 2, 3 actually. Simonas, Wendigo and King Bob MT96. Great 1, 2, 3 performance from those guys. So here we go. That was the end of that race. Let's have a quick look again at the table, because it makes a little bit of a difference. So this is where we were at the beginning of the day. So Wendigo was in the lead on 70 points. Simonas down in 4th place, but that 25 points really chucks him up into the mix. Guy will drop down a little bit, I think, with King Bob. So basically the top 4 there were the top 4 on the racetrack. It is starting to pan out as a very kind of, I don't want to say predictable. Tomosis did a really good job. Pakozas did a really good job. But I think we're certainly going to see the gaps at the top starting to close a little bit. Wendigo's definitely shown in the last 2 races that he's beatable. After race number 2, it was looking like nobody was going to catch him, but he's proven at this stage that he is beatable, and he is fallible. But there we go. So that is 4 races down now. 4 races done. We are moving on to race number 5 next week, and race number 5 is at Watkins Glen, the Glen, 25 laps of the Watkins Glen International Racecourse in the United States of America. That is a really frenetic, fast-paced track that is incredibly unforgiving. The curbs on that track do not like you. And that will take us to the midway point in this very, very challenging, very entertaining Lithuanian GR3 tournament. And with the guys are really starting to demonstrate that there's some very good drivers in the country of Lithuania. And at the moment, Wendigo, Simonas, Guy, MT98, King Bob, all showing that they have the mettle to be the best driver, the best GT driver in Lithuania. But we will see as the weeks go on. We're not even halfway yet. Next week is the halfway point. Next week we will find out where everybody stands. So, not much more to say other than thank you very much for joining me. This has been the Lithuanian Racing Club GR3 Championship at the Fuji International Speedway in Japan this Sunday evening. Round 5 up next week. See you guys tomorrow for GR4 Lottery, and again on Wednesday for the GR3 Open. It's been incredibly emotional. I've been Open Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV, and it's been Sunday night, and I am out. Thank you very much.